Fear of visibility. That's what I want to talk about today. It is a topic that's near and dear to my heart, perhaps a little too near and dear to my heart, as it is something that I come up against very frequently. And if you've known me for any length of time, especially if you've known me offline, and double especially if you have worked with me, you will find that very surprising. When I am somebody's employee, I have no problem being like, hi, I'm Mimi, blah, 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 blah. Welcome to such and such beauty store. How can I help you? Oh, you're looking for this? Okay, come with me right over here. I know exactly what you need. When vendors would come into the stores, no problem being like, hi, blah, 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 blah. I need this from you. I need you to do that. When they'd bring their bosses into the store, I'd have no issue being very direct and very honest with regionals or VPs of companies. No issue whatsoever. But when it comes to being seen for my own talents, for my own business, for my own offerings, it's a completely different story. And it was quite puzzling until I figured out where it originates from. But I'll get to that in a second. I had lunch with a friend several months ago. And this is a friend that I met in the beauty industry. And she was an account executive for a major company, and we connected, we bonded. And there are a few people who fit that description. I'm very fortunate. But when we had lunch a few months ago, I was telling her about this fear of visibility. We were talking about my business, and she now has her own business. And we're talking about the various challenges. And when I brought up the topic of fear of visibility and my hesitancy to put myself out there, she was really shocked. She was really shocked. I mean, she's, like I mentioned before, she's one of the people who had seen me in work mode. She saw me go up against her boss, who was a total asshole. And so she couldn't reconcile the Mimi that she had known in my previous incarnation with this Mimi who's sitting there saying, yeah, I get a little hesitant to post about my business. I get a little afraid to tell people I'm available for energy work sessions or come learn Reiki with me. And I know it's ridiculous. I know intellectually what I need to do. I have counseled others on this, other people who were not putting themselves out there for their own business or their own endeavors. I can look at a person, look at their business, and know exactly what they need to do. But when it's somebody else's playground, so to speak, it's different. When it's my own projects, there's a whole different layer of vulnerability that goes with that. And I feel honestly a little silly saying that, but that's the truth. And it's something that I have pondered for the last 2 years. It was just quite baffling. So I understand intellectually and on an emotional level for others, I understand where all of this stems from, but I had not figured out where it was rooted for me. Like, where did this come from? Why do I have this fear of visibility? Why do I not want to be noticed? And that's what it was. So one day I had the realization, I'm not wanting to be noticed. So it's like, okay, well, where does that come from? Why do I not want to be noticed? So one day I get in my car to drive down to my favorite bakery to pick up my lunch. And as I'm making a right-hand turn, all of a sudden, bam, it just flashed in my head. Gina Naranjo. Gina Naranjo is why I am hesitant to be noticed for myself. And who the hell is Gina Naranjo? And why should I care? And why should you care? Well, Gina Naranjo is the girl. She was a girl back when I was a girl. She bullied me from maybe first grade all the way through 12th grade. I'm one of those people who never moved. So I went straight through elementary, junior high, and high school in the same neighborhood. So I went through all 13 grades, if you count kindergarten, with a lot of people. And one of them was Gina. Lucky me. This girl, for whatever reason, took one look at me and decided she didn't like me. Okay. So that's what it was. She noticed me. And being noticed meant that I got picked on from about first grade all the way up until literally graduation day, 12th grade. There was a period where she tried to be my friend, but that's a whole other topic for maybe a whole other video. But what that did was it created this scenario and this belief in my child's brain. I mean, how old are we when we're in first grade? 6 years old? 7? Being noticed does not result in anything good. And when I had this realization, I literally chuckled to myself in the car, and I just said out loud, well, Gina Naranjo can eat a bag of dicks. And having this realization, being able to trace this issue to the root cause has been very, very satisfying. If you follow my social media, you'll see that no, I'm still not amazing at posting about my business, and that is changing. I've stepped it up a bit in the past couple of months, and I'll be stepping it up even more. But as I was saying, having this realization was very eye-opening to me. I had explored it. I went back, okay, yeah, there was the time my mother said this. There's the time that my father said that. But I couldn't find anything from my parents or my brother that really connected with this fear of being noticed. And when I had that realization that it was this girl in the first grade who, for whatever reason, took one look at me and didn't like me, that resonated. It was like this click, this big cosmic click in my brain, like, aha, I found it. So it's a good example of how the things that we experience throughout our lives can come back to haunt us, or in my case, it's not that it came back, it never left, but how things just really affect our psyche and really affect how we look at life and how we live life. So now that I know where this is rooted, I've been taking steps to unravel, to untangle that, and release it. So my question for you is, what areas in your life are you holding back? Are there any areas where you feel that you're holding back? And where do you think they stem from? I would love to hear your responses in the comments, your responses to my story and my experience with this. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you're not comfortable sharing in the comments, please feel free to message me. I'd love to hear from you.